vehicle and save big with Spearfish Motors. Visit us anytime online at spearfishmotors.com.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Remember when life was simple? Nope, me neither. The summer sun may feel great to us, but summer heat takes its toll on your vehicle. Don't risk your family's vacation fun by ignoring vehicle maintenance. When it comes to your vehicle maintenance or repair, keeping it simple is easy. The ASE certified technicians at Al's D&I can make sure your car is in top running condition. Maintenance now or fix it later. Most vehicles, most years, and most countries. Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
A 3-0. Gage Woods struck out 19, a record for a 9-inning game there. LSU will face UCLA tonight. In Major League Baseball, 3 late games, including the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani hosting the Padres. Ohtani will be on the mound as the opener, may only pitch an inning or so, but the Dodgers are first in the NL West, 2 games over the Idle Giants, and the Padres are 3 back. Boston yesterday traded DH Rafael Devers to San Francisco. The Red Sox have won 5 in a row. They have a late game at Seattle. Houston will be at the A's. Philadelphia's won 4 straight. The Idle Mets have lost 3 in a row. Philly is at Miami later this hour. NBA Finals Game 5 coming up at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Series tied at 2. Indiana at Oklahoma City. At the FIFA Club World Cup, Chelsea beat LAFC 2-0. I'm Steve DeSager.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Monday afternoon. We're back and ready on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you here. Hope you had a nice weekend, everybody. Tonight, it's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that, even on a Monday in the summer. Yes, I hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday. If you're a father, if you have a father, I hope that's the case. I hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday, and we're back at it on a Monday. The Nate Brown Show is live here on Fox Sports Radio, also streaming on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show on X, and the YouTube channel is up and ready. The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe on YouTube. You've got us any way you want it. Let's get going on a Monday night. Hopefully have a great show tonight. Thought-provoking sports talk with local, regional, national guests across the board. Let's get into it. Some new guests popping on tonight, so we'll kick the week off right. We got NBA Finals Game 5. A big hitter tonight. 74% of the time, you win Game 5 tonight, you win the NBA Finals 74% of the time. So tonight, it's a big one. Let's look at the guest lineup. Brad Knight's going to join us for the first time. He covers the Indiana Pacers. I want the Pacers' perspective. They're on the ropes. Got to go to OKC tonight. Brad Knight is in. He hosts the Pacers Post-Up podcast out of Indianapolis. Brad Knight talking OKC, Indiana tonight. Game 5 straight ahead. We'll go to Scott Pianowski is going to join us live. National Major League Baseball. yahoosports.com. Scott Pianowski, great baseball guest. He's in. Some headlines across Major League Baseball. We'll get to Scott Pianowski, Major League Baseball writer, yahoosports.com. Zach Borgson from Dakota News Now. He's popping on, talking FCS, opt-in, opt-out, and all the goods. Zach Borg tonight, Dakota News Now. And Mike McFeely from Inforum.com, columnist out of Fargo. McFeely's on tonight as well. It's a McFeely Monday. Is he back as a regular? A McFeely Monday? We could do that. We'll see, okay? The Nate Brown Show, getting you on if you want in. 605-720-1067. That's how you call us. 605-720-1067. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Also in Brandon, and 2 locations in Rapid City tonight. Hit the Pizza Ranch Buffet, the best buffet in town, locally owned and operated. Call us on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline or the Barron's Wilson text line open as well. You can text the show, 605-720-1067. Text the show directly on the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Monday edition is back. By the way, I said I hope you had a great Father's Day. What's the real story on Father's Day? I'm curious. I had a nice Father's Day. It was low-key, nice lunch. Went to the park, hung out, visited. Yes, I'm getting old. Whenever you highlight the day by visited with family, you're getting old. Quality time. Do you guys know this? But my question is, do you spend the Father's Day with your kids, or do you spend the Father's Day like you hit the course? It's like, hey, I got 18 holes. I'm free. I'm out. I'm doing my own thing. Because I was thinking back over my Father's Days here. I'm 16 years in. 16 years in. And I've never done just a Father's Day. I'm out. I'm going to do a massage. I'm going to do golf. Am I missing something? My daughter said you can't do that. I mean, she laid down the law yesterday. And she said, well, what do you mean? This is Father's Day. You're spending time with us. And I'll take it. But you tell me, what's the appropriate call, okay? We'll start a little bit with a little bit of fun. By the way, you tell me if there's a strong opinion either way. How did you spend your Father's Day? Either way, I hope you had a great day. Hey, one thing we found out over the weekend, I'm seeing some of this stuff come out like on Fridays. Everybody's mailing it in. We're mailing it in on a Friday, ready for the summer weekend, Father's Day weekend, and then we get these big news headlines the last couple of weeks. And so this past weekend here in South Dakota, I'm going to start the show with this. University of South Dakota Athletic Director John Schemmel announces USD is in fact going to opt in to the NCAA House settlement. So you maybe, if you've been listening to this program, we've covered it as good as we can to get you some insight. There's still a lot of unknowns, and if you don't want to dig into the weeds, I get it. But the situation is very interesting because it's a massive change in the landscape of college sports. And with our flagship universities here, USD and SDSU, a huge change here that could be coming. Are you going to opt in? Are you going to opt out of this House settlement? That's the revenue sharing model. There's other aspects to it, but the revenue sharing model with athletes. And so USD announced over the weekend here that they are going to opt in. So Yote fans, as you're wondering, how does this work? Well, you're essentially going to opt into this settlement. There's other benefits to this. And as a matter of fact, we're going to talk to John Schemmel, the AD for the Yotes, tomorrow. So we've got him scheduled to come on the show tomorrow. Don't miss that. I think he's going to give us some good insight and information. They've looked at it pretty long and hard here to see what's the best opportunity. And their big sticking point on opting in or opting out, one of the big sticking points was, can we keep all of our student athletes that are on our rosters right now? So that means everybody that's going to USD that's been enrolled, these might be walk-ons. These might be partial scholarship people. Okay, you look across the athletic department board, they didn't want to have roster cuts, and this House settlement was going to make you have some roster cuts. It was going to limit your roster. USD said, we can't have that. But then the judge decided, let's grandfather in for this year the rosters that are set. So if you're enrolled at USD and you're a student athlete, you're grandfathered in and the roster limits do not pertain. So that was a big factor as you watch, how does this all work if you think about the business of college sports, to give you a little insight, USD relies on many of the student athletes that are going to the university to be paying tuition to the university. It's not full ride fest. Everybody's got a full ride, and it's like Ohio State. No, it's many aspects of this in the programs. There's a lot of partial scholarships, walk-ons, things like this. And what do those student athletes do? They enroll in the university 4 or 5 years. They pay tuition. That's a huge budget factor. A huge budget factor. So that was the kicker, is how I see it, is that USD said, if we can grandfather in all of these student athletes that were already on our rosters, walk-ons to partial scholarships in this sport and that sport, I think we're going to opt in. And again, there's other benefits. I'll talk to John Schemmel tomorrow right about this time. So if you want to tune in, we'll have the AD for the Yotes on. So he's going to opt in. Now, here's the big kicker. I thought everybody might go down this road. I actually thought, well, if USD is going to do it, if UND is going to do it, how about North Dakota State? They're thinking about it. They have until June 30th coming up to decide if you're in, you're out. South Dakota State is still not going to do it as of today. So I don't have the magic answer tonight, because I've looked into this every which way. I've spent a lot of time figuring out what are the benefits, why wouldn't you, why would you? I've figured out some of the why would yous. Why would yous is USD needs these student athletes to be paying tuition to the university. They think it's a good deal. Let's keep them on. Our current rosters are good. We'll get tuition on from these student athletes. We'll have some revenue sharing. And by the way, people think the revenue sharing, well, is that going to be a big factor? Is that going to be a problem? They're just going to have to find some revenue sharing from certain pots, ticket sales to sponsorships. They're going to have to ramp up fundraising to close that gap so they can feed the budget in other ways. But it's really moving money in a university budget. So I don't think the revenue sharing is going to be something that breaks USD. They're going to revenue share at a certain percentage, and they're going to find it from certain pots, and then they're going to have to fill from other pots. So could it be a hurt for some of the sports on down the line that maybe lose money? Well, maybe it could, but again, you're not really going to revenue share with those sports. They're not making money as it is. That's how I see it. We'll see how USD plays this out. But my question tonight is, and I still don't have the magic answer, if you got other FCS programs in the Missouri Valley and USD right there in Vermilion is going to opt in, why isn't Justin Sell in South Dakota State and Brookings going to opt in as well? Why not? Because here's my question, and I'll reach out to Justin. He's told me through text, as of now, our position hasn't changed. We're on the opt-out. So as of now, SDSU has not changed their position. They're going to stay opting out for now. Could that change in the next week or two? Maybe it will. Again, I felt the momentum was going, hey, it looks like USD is going to opt in. I thought South Dakota State would follow suit. Why wouldn't they? And so the only one of the concerns I have is, where does this land if you opt out? Where does this land? Can you then still be grandfathered in with your roster next year if you decide, hey, this didn't work out as good. We didn't do the revenue sharing thing. We opted out. We kind of wanted to maintain control of what we're doing from that standpoint. Now we want to opt in. Can you get grandfathered in next year? That's a question I'm not sure on. I don't have all of the 36-page breakdown of the thing, the Q&A. So I don't know for sure. Is SDSU going to wait and then still get grandfathered in on roster limits? Let's see how this all plays out in year one. We don't want to enter the fire right away. Well, let's see how it plays out for a USD or a UND or maybe even a North Dakota State. So what's SDSU's thought here? Are they worried about certain aspects of opting in? Are they worried about the scenario of having to revenue share potentially? There's more sports at South Dakota State. I don't know the exact answer on that. And I don't think I'm going to I don't think we have all the details. It took USD a little while to break it down themselves. So that's the big headline over the weekend. There's not a lot of solid, like, SDSU hasn't come out and said, we're going to opt out, and here's why. Their why before was, we don't want to have to cut student athletes. But I'm telling you, that's been corrected, and that's why USD is saying, hey, if we don't have to cut student athletes that are paying tuition right now to the university, we're in. This thing will work out. SDSU hasn't changed their position. Their number one argument for not opting in March was, we don't want to have to cut student athletes, because if you put us on a roster limit, we got to get rid of some walk-ons and stuff like that. They're not paying tuition. That's a big problem. So now that that's out of the equation, I just have a question. Why is South Dakota State waiting and potentially still opting out? Will South Dakota State be one of the only ones in the Dakotas here in this upper area, upper Midwest, to opt out? Is everyone else going to opt in? The Bison, UND? We find out USD is going to opt in. So that's the big headline there. And then I want to shift to this. Let's go to a question of the day. Speaking of the revenue sharing, I have a question for you. Do you think the universities that are now offering seniors in high school, these are athletic programs, the football programs, so I can go and make an offer to a senior in high school, and guess what I can now offer them because of this House settlement? I can offer them a cash revenue share. Here's what you're going to get if you come to Iowa. So are you following that? Yes, the current student athletes in the Iowa program, they get the revenue share. But they can now offer that to high school seniors. So if I'm a recruit, this should be juniors. I mean, juniors, that's when you really start getting recruited. You have your mind made up by the time you're a senior usually. So nonetheless, high school kids, if you're a designated student athlete at an Iowa, Nebraska, whoever you want to say, where they're going to be revenue sharing at a pretty high level, we can now offer that cash revenue share to you for your offer. So the Huskers can say, hey, I want you to come. Matt Rule can say, I want you to come and play for the Huskers because you're the man. And here's how much money you're going to get from our revenue share pool. Do you think that's okay? That just came out in how this is going to play out. Schools can begin to formally offer high school prospects revenue sharing agreements. That's going to start on August 1st. So you're getting recruited by the Huskers, by the Hawkeyes, whoever. They can put in the offer, here's your revenue share agreement. What do you think? Do you like that scenario? College programs now taking the money from the revenue sharing coming up and offering it to the high school kids. This world has changed from 0 to 100 pretty quickly. Do you think that's okay? That's what I want to know, okay? That's what I want to know. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. The Barron's Wilson text line. Are you okay with college athletic teams putting in the cash revenue share and offering that to high school kids now? Or what I mean by that is they don't even have to sign, right? It's not like they signed that national letter of intent. Remember those? Those were so good. National letter of intent. I'm going to sign. I'm going to go here. They can now say, no, here's your offer. Here it is. Well, what could it be? What is it? $40,000? I don't know. But it's whatever the revenue share is. That's going to go into the high school offer now. Are you okay with that? Or should the high school kids have to get into the program and then be a part of the revenue sharing? Essentially, they're allowing you to do this. This is like the scholarship turned into cash as well. So here's your scholarship. That's over to the side here. Yeah, you got a big scholarship. But here's the extra money, and the kids are going to go, let's see, Nebraska's giving me $40K. Iowa's giving me $34. You like that? That's how it's going to go starting August 1st. That's what they just decided. 72% of you are voting no, they should wait until after the kids get into college. Well, I understand that, but I guess if you're going to be a part of the program, if everybody gets the revenue share, shouldn't the high school kid that's getting recruited get to find out what the revenue share is? Shouldn't the high school kid know what Nebraska's offering as compared to Iowa? Shouldn't the high school kid know what the revenue share is in the program? I think that's a factor, and I'm okay with it, but 72% of you say no, they should wait until they get into the program. Well, I'm sorry. The NCAA settlement case has said they don't have to wait. They're going to be able to find out starting August 1st what the real offer is. 28% of you say, I'm okay with offering the high school kids cash. You have to offer them cash. All right. Listener text, where does Title IX factor into the revenue sharing? Well, let's see. There was just a lawsuit filed last week over, how about Title IX and the women's sports? Are they going to get revenue sharing at a fair rate? A lawsuit was just filed last week, honestly. And that's the type of stuff I think, when's that going to end? I don't think that type of lawsuit's going to end. Let's see. Listener text 605-720-1067. I think it's fair offering the high school kids the revenue as long as they're a part of the program. Yeah, and so get this. That's going to be a contract type deal. So that's going to be an agreement. You can't just say, I'm going to go to Nebraska. Yeah, here's my $40,000 offer, and then I'm going to pull myself out of that. Well, you're going to lose that money. Okay, so this is an agreement. You're going to have to be on the Nebraska team to get that money. So I'm okay with the high school kids knowing how much it is. You got to keep a grade point. I mean, you got to, academically eligible. You remember academics, anybody? Yeah, it's still a part of that, I guess. All right. Listener text. Biggest weekend headline, Caitlin Clark, 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Well, maybe not the biggest headline, but a big one. A big one. If you didn't watch Caitlin Clark this weekend, you missed out. 7 threes, the comeback. That was a great comeback. If you didn't watch Caitlin, you missed out. By the way, I'll be watching Caitlin Clark live just about a week from now. Live. I'm excited. Scott Pianowski's coming in. Let's get it going. YahooSports.com, Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski on some huge headlines around Major League Baseball today. Next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. We carry the largest in-stock selection of Hunter ceiling fans. They provide consistent comfort all year round and also help reduce energy costs. Right now, save big on Hunter ceiling fans when you shop at Menards. View our entire selection of Hunter ceiling fans today on Menards.com. Plus our weekly flyer with plenty more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Headed to the 85th Sturgis Rally? Make the ride even better with a stay at Cadillac Jackson Deadwood. Relax in style with 3 top-notch hotels. Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, Doubletree, and True by Hilton. Plus, enjoy 4 eateries and Deadwood's largest casino floor. Mention this ad and receive an exclusive Gambler's Getaway that includes a $20 food and beverage credit, $30 in Cadillac cash, and 2 free drink tickets. Book your rally stay today at Cadillac Jacks. Call 605-578-1500.
The new Mr. Liquor 2 in Rapid City is the only place in western South Dakota where you can order an ice-cold brew in their adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. Experience unmatched selection and low prices, including Old Smoky Moonshine, only $23.49 for a $7.50. Or choose Traveler's Whiskey, the official whiskey of Major League Baseball, just $32.99 for a $7.50. Price is good at the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Partly cloudy skies tonight with severe thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 58. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Storms likely. Highs level off around 72. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night. Thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 55. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 78.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Shop the Black Hills' best selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, plus GM certified pre-owned at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet. Shop over 350 used cars, trucks, and sport utilities, and buy with no money down, and make no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. All credit apps accepted. Choose from Chevys, GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Over 350 of them. You could buy with no down and no payments for 90 days. See us at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet or DannyManholeRapidChevrolet.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty, and they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Coming up, Game 5 NBA Finals tonight. Brad Knight covers the Pacers. Pacers Post-Up Podcast, part of the Believe Podcast Network. For his first time on the program, we'll talk Game 5. 74% of the time, if you win Game 5, you win the NBA Finals. That's the breakdown, so a big one tonight in OKC. Let me see if we can get Scott Pianowski. We've been connecting with him in and out, so we'll try and get him. Scott Pianowski is coming up, Major League Baseball writer, yahoosports.com. We'll see if we can grab Scott here. Hang tight. By the way, Zach Borg's also coming up. Zach Borg, Dakota News Now, live from Sioux Falls. Let me see if we have Scott Pianowski. Scott, do we have you? No?
So weird. Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear him. I can hear him. He couldn't hear me. That's okay. It's live radio. You know we're ready for this stuff, don't you? I mean, you know you're ready for this stuff. By the way, we'll see if we can grab him. Scott Pianowski coming up. Mike McFeely also on the way. Mike McFeely, Inforum.com. Let's try one more time. Scott Pianowski, can you hear me? No? Maybe? We'll try it again. He's not there for some reason, and we'll see if we can track him down. He's in. He's ready. Hey, you can't blame Scott. Can you hear me now? No? All right. Can't blame Scott. Technology, it's a beast. It's an absolute beast. Let me get into this right now, okay? Let me get into this scenario. The question of the day I was thinking about, speaking of baseball, okay? There's something I was thinking about. Summertime right now in South Dakota, you know what we always used to see? This was back in my day, and I thought about this over the weekend because I told you yesterday for Father's Day, I went to the park, had a good time with the family. There was a couple of kids throwing the baseball around. At the park, and it got me thinking. You might see a couple of kids throwing around the baseball at a family reunion, something like this. But my childhood back in the day, in summers, was we had wiffle ball tournaments. We played wiffle ball down at the park. We played wiffle ball at my house. We had real deal tournaments, meaning we got together with buddies, and that's what we did all summer. I mean, it was in between Little League, and then when we weren't playing Little League, we were playing wiffle ball tournaments, the whole thing. The other thing we were doing, playing pickup basketball games in the driveway. We'd put it together, a little 2-on-2, lower the rim down to 8 feet, see if we can get some dunks on our way to the championship of the driveway Summer Fest. And so when you think about this, why did I start thinking about it? Well, somebody stopped me. They said, this was a little while back. They said, do you see kids that are doing this what we used to do? Meaning, go to the buddy's house wiffle ball tournament, go down to the park, pick up basketball games. And so if you live in cities, my answer to that was, if you live in cities, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, I don't think you see it as much. I don't think I drive by the park and I see a big pickup game full of kids. And so I got to thinking, I was there at the park yesterday, Father's Day, hanging out, a couple of kids throwing the baseball around, and I thought, well, what's the story? Do kids still do this? Maybe it's just you're in the cities, because I grew up in a small town. That was how I lived summer life. Summer in a small town was riding your bike everywhere, playing wiffle ball, playing corkball, playing basketball. Those were the days, I say. Those were the good old days. And so I asked about it. Maybe it's just one of those things we think in 2025 that, well, kids aren't doing the same thing. But maybe it's real. I was asked that question a while back. Are kids still going to the park or going to the ballpark or even going to each other's houses and putting together just a pickup game, just a wiffle ball tournament, whatever it is? So I said, I'm going to throw the question of the day out tonight. Summertime in South Dakota, baseball season. Why don't we see as many kids playing summer pickup games of basketball, wiffle ball, baseball with friends these days? That's maybe it's the old guard like me. Maybe it's the old guard against the new era. Maybe there is kids doing this. Are they still doing it in small towns in South Dakota that I'm not living in? Across the state, maybe the small towns are still doing hey, we ride our bikes around, we go down to the park, and we put a little pickup game together. Maybe that's happening. I'm not sure if it is. That's what I want to know. Do we see kids playing summer pickup games of basketball or wiffle ball with friends these days? And give me a little psychology on that one. Why not? And I've got 3 answers tonight. Is it too much technology? Is it really too much technology? It's all structured now, meaning we don't go down and play extra now because everything's structured. We got Little League practice. We got Little League games. We're not playing the Little League games. Now we're going to go to tournaments on the weekend because parents are taking them to tournaments on the weekend too. So everything's structured. You pay for this. You pay for that. Those are the only activities. They don't go down to the park and play a 3-on-3 pickup game because it's all structured. Or are parents too overprotective now? They don't let the kids just have at it. Jimmy Lipper and his buddies put the team together. They head down to the park and they have at it. Are parents overprotective? Those are my 3 options for you tonight. Summertime in South Dakota, why don't kids play sports just loosely? Chris Denker talked to me about this, basketball scout. He said, this is what I used to do. And he's from California, big cities. He still used to do it. He says kids don't do that anymore. And I'm asking you why not tonight. Too much technology? It's all structured, or parents are overprotective. What's your answer? 605-720-1067. Votes coming in right now. What do you think's the number 1 vote getter on the Twitter handle at Nate Brown Show? Number 1 vote getter, 51% say too much technology. I mean, I had a Nintendo. Does that count? I did. My parents put a limit on the Nintendo. They put a limit on it. Nintendo time, not as much Roblox time. Now, kids, is it really too much technology? I'm going to dig into this. This is going to be one of those themes tonight. You tell me your answers on the text line. Is kids not playing pickup games this summer? Do you see it? Maybe you see it. I don't see it. And why? 605-720-1067. Let's see if we can track down Scott Pianowski and more. Hang on.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home, swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Golf Club, Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the number one public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio across the state. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is on Monday edition. Our question of the day, this is an interesting one. Why don't we see kids today, this summer, playing pickup games, wiffle ball, corkball, basketball? Why don't we see them down at the park over at each other's houses? I used to have the wiffle ball tournaments, the all-time wiffle ball tournaments in my childhood. My childhood was better than most. Why don't we see that today? Listener text coming in, we don't see it. It's sad. It's electronics. Is it? I'm not sure I'm going to cop out on that. I'm not sure it's technology. I'm not sure. I think there's other things. Why don't we see kids down at the park playing wiffle ball, playing baseball, playing basketball? Why? Scott Pianowski's on tonight. He's in. He's ready. We're connected. Yahoo Sports, Major League Baseball, yahoosports.com. Scott, good to have you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. And let me tell you, I all but threw out my rotator cuff playing wiffle ball as a kid. We used to watch This Week in Baseball on Saturday afternoon, and it was understood the moment that ended, we'd be in my backyard. We had a really big backyard, and I would throw my arm out. It was unbelievable how many pitches you would throw on a hot day. So it's sad that this apparently is a dying thing in the new generation.
I am with you on that, and I'm just wondering why, how. Is it an easy answer, technology? I'm not so sure, but maybe it's a factor.
Yeah, there's more choices. There's more things to do, and there's more instant gratification. People can. I mean, how many times do you see somebody, at a bank or at in line somewhere, and they're on their phone, they're playing a game, or they're texting somebody, or we're all engaged in the palm of our hands now. So it is broken up conversation. It's broken up the sandlot, and so in many ways, technology is better. It allows us to thankfully finally be on a phone call today and talk some baseball. But sometimes I wonder if technology has actually been one step forward and two steps back.
Scott Pianowski on tonight. Good stuff. YahooSports.com, and a wiffle ball talent back in the day, just like me. That's as far as I went. Okay, let's get into this big trade. People want to know what the real story is with Rafael Devers in his prime, having a nice season, huge money contract. Red Sox ship him out. Was it a conflict there between him and the team? How big of a mistake is it for the Red Sox to do it?
I mean, obviously things had gone bad. They signed Bregman. They know that Devers is not a good defensive player. And so, they say, okay, you're going to be a full-time DH now, and he wasn't thrilled about that. And then, then they had an injury at first base, Casas. They want Devers to maybe take some ground balls at first base. He's like, wait a minute, you told me I was a full-time DH. So the relationship had soured. And remember, organization now had inherited this contract. It was the previous regime that signed Devers to the long-term deal. Although he's at the peak of his offensive abilities, he is no longer, he's not going to be somebody at the end of his contract that's going to have any defensive value. It's a contract that probably won't age very well. So the Red Sox, that's why they didn't get the greatest package of players back, is because San Francisco agreed to take the entirety of the contract. So it doesn't look great for the Red Sox, because this is a team that created Chris Sale a year or two ago, and they traded Mookie Betts, of course. They tried to re-sign Bogarts, couldn't do it. Maybe that's actually been a good move for Boston. But the bottom line is this: do the Red Sox reinvest this money, right? What do they do in the offseason? Seems like Bregman might opt out. He's already getting a big contract, but he was a one-year deal with an option. They have to spend this money to kind of show the goodwill to the Boston fan base that, we're not just trying to put this money in our pocket. We actually want to be competitive. We changed our mind on Devers, but we're going to sink this money into the franchise down the line. So very curious offseason coming for Boston.
How ticked off are Red Sox fans? They just got over 500. They just swept the Yankees. Do you think the Red Sox could compete?
It's one of those things where they could make the playoffs. Are they set up to maybe go deep in the playoffs? I realize a chip in a chair if you make the baseball playoffs, but I don't know that this roster was set up to maybe be a legitimate World Series contender. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they're right. They're one of like 4 or 5 teams that are right there in the playoff hunt. They've won 5 in a row. They just swept the Yankees, so the timing of it is really strange. But I don't buy them as a World Series contender as they're constituted right now. They have this young wave of talent that's come up, Campbell and Anthony and Mayer. None of those guys are really playing all that well right now. 1 for 17 first week for Anthony. Campbell's had a big slump after a good first start. But those are the future guys. They've actually already signed Campbell to an extension to buy out all his arbitration years. So I could see this being a good team in a few years. The key is going to be, again, if they reinvest the money or not.
So Red Sox shift Devers to the Giants. So how about the Giants in the West? Can they compete with the Dodgers? They are now. Can they long term?
That's interesting question. I mean, Buster Posey takes over as the head of baseball operations. The previous regime was Zahidi was like, okay, we're going to find underappreciated assets. We're going to spend our money smarter. And then they bring in some new ownership and say, okay, well, let's make a big splash. Let's sign Ohtani. They didn't get him. Let's sign Correa. Well, we signed him, and then we didn't like the medicals, and we backed off that. They went after Aaron Judge. So this is kind of their white whale, right? It wasn't Ohtani. It wasn't Judge. Obviously, Devers is a step down, but still an all-star player and somebody who you can kind of make the face of your franchise. I'm curious what they do with him defensively. They already re-signed Chapman to an extension. He's an outstanding defensive player. At what point do they maybe ask Devers if he wants to play first base? Are they fine with him as a DH? That's something they need to solve. But I think the Giants look like they could be a 90-win team, and maybe they have a little bit more sea legs in the playoffs than the Red Sox do. I don't think they're going to win the division, even though right now they're pretty much in a dead tie with L.A. But they're a playoff team. I think their odds on Fangraphs right now are like 65% or something like that. The Red Sox are about 30%. That sounds about right to me. And I also wonder if Devers just leaving Boston. He's going to a bigger park. That should hurt his numbers, but maybe the emotional uplift of the turmoil is over. There's a lot of strain in that relationship. Maybe he's just happy to be with a better team, with a team that has more chance of being a factor in October.
Do you think Devers overplayed it here? If you're getting $313 million in a contract, do you just have to do what the team tells you to do?
Yeah, a lot of people would say that. I think that's a big reason why this trade happened. Is that the Red Sox thought, for $300 million, shouldn't you be a team player? And then the clubhouse, by all accounts, were split on this. There were some guys, nobody's putting their name on it, but there were some guys who were wondering, maybe Devers should have taken one for the team. And when Bregman came over, he said, "I'll play anywhere you want me to play." And maybe it's easier for Bregman to say that. He's a Gold Glove caliber defender. When they did sign Devers to the extension, again, a previous GM, they said they would keep him in the field. They weren't going to take the glove away from them. Not only did they do it, but they do it in his 20s. So it's kind of like a chance of saving face for him. He's a little bit embarrassed probably by this move, but I would like to think for the money they're spending, they should get somebody who would be like, "What do you want me to do, Coach?" That's kind of the attitude I'd like to see.
Scott Pianowski joining us tonight. Follow him at Scott_Pianowski. Yahoo Sports, Major League Baseball. Tonight, Ohtani on the mound. He returns for the first time. How interested are you in seeing this tonight?
Yeah, interested. It's going to be probably as an opener, as a short appearance. The thing with Ohtani is he's such a dominant hitter, Nate, that you wonder, is it worth it to take the chance on him as a pitcher, even in a limited sense? But the Dodgers have below-average pitching. Their starting rotation hasn't been good. A lot of guys hurt. The bullpen has been disappointing. So if they could even get 40 or 50 innings out of Ohtani and then have him in October as a pitcher, they would take it. It just makes you wonder, though. He's an offensive player like we've never seen. I guess Judge is in that stratosphere, too, but it's a category of two right now. So how much of a chance are you taking with your prize player when knowing, we know how pitchers can get hurt doing almost anything. So it's a risk, but I think the Dodgers, the way the pitching is right now, they feel they have to take that chance.
Do you think Ohtani wants to do it? I feel like I've seen reports saying that he's the one saying, I want to do this, pitch and hit.
I think he definitely wants to. That's one reason why he signed with the Angels. They were able to make him a two-way player when a lot of teams didn't want to do it. It's like, why would he sign with a team like LA? We talk about this all the time. When Ohtani and Trout were on the Angels, not only did they never make the playoffs, they never had a winning record, which is just astounding, and it speaks to how difficult it is to build a baseball team. Also, Trout being hurt a lot. But Ohtani came over and was, again, the Angels got him because they were willing to go two ways with him when a lot of teams weren't. So I think he's definitely behind. Yeah, let's pitch. I'd like to give it a shot, and knowing they can always pull back if something doesn't feel right.
Shohei Ohtani back on the mound, starting pitcher tonight. Scott, I'll let you run on this. Your power rankings. Do you have the Tigers at the top for you?
That's always the hard case where they have the record says they should be there, but the eye test and the roster test, even with Skubal, the best team and the best pitcher in baseball, doesn't really match up. I think they're a top 5, top 6 team. I think Hinch adds wins to this team. I think they're good at a lot of small things. Gleyber Torres getting his career back on track. He may be the all-star second baseman this year and a very good defensive player. It's a deep bullpen, although it didn't pitch very well on Sunday. I think they're a good team. I don't yet buy them as a great team.
Scott Pianowski tonight, Major League Baseball, Yahoo Sports on The Nate Brown Show. Scott, glad we got it, man. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Nate. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate your time. Scott Pianowski, we got him in. Appreciate it. YahooSports.com. Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski on tonight. Couple of big headlines. Rafael Devers gets traded to the Giants. Devers just signed a big deal with the Red Sox a couple of years ago. $313 million, and then they got in a little dust-up. He wants to play third. They don't want him to play third. He's a designated hitter. And so he's been good this year. Devers has been good. Imagine making $313 million, 10-year deal, and thinking, I'm upset. I want to play out on the field. It's like, just hit the ball. I mean, that's just my South Dakota common sense bringing that scenario. I know guys are competitors. I want to be out there. It's like, you're not a good fielder. You know, I don't think Joe Mauer cried when he just was hitting the ball for the Twins late in the career, right? First base, kind of tough to learn. I don't know. I mean, it's like, just don't cry. You're making $313 million and you're ticked off. So the Red Sox ship him out. That's a bad look there. Red Sox are a game over 500, right in the mix. Really, not that far behind the Yankees, really. And they ship out their best hitter. Unbelievable. Shohei Ohtani pitching tonight against the Padres, MLB Network. I'll check it out, but I will be watching Game 5 in its entirety, NBA Finals. Can the Pacers pull off the major upset? This one tonight's uphill climb. Brad Knight covers the Pacers. We'll talk Pacers OKC Game 5 next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home deserves a better hello. Swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Forecast. Partly cloudy skies tonight with severe thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 58. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Storms likely. Highs level off around 72. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night. Thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 55. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 78.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in across the state, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you here. Hope you've had a great start to your week. I know it's Monday, but it's summer. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. Zach Borg's coming up tonight. Dakota News Now sports anchor live from Sioux Falls. Dakota News Now. Zach Borg's in tonight. We'll go to Fargo, North Dakota with our favorite guest, Mike McFeely. Inforum.com columnist Mike McFeely also on tap. Second hour looks good. Game 5 tonight. This is the biggie. If you win this, 74% of the time you win the NBA Finals. Pacers have a tough one at OKC tonight. Brad Knight talks Pacers. The podcast is part of the Believe Podcast Network. Pacers Post Up. You can follow him on X at Pacers Post Up. Download the podcast. Pacers Post Up. It's Brad Knight on the program for the first time. Brad, good to have you. How are you?
Nate, I'm doing great. Happy to join you, and certainly looking forward to, as you said, a big one tonight.
Oh, it's huge, and it's now really, really big because the Pacers are tied up. How tough was that one the other night? They had it. I watched the whole game. I thought they were in great shape. How did it slip away when you saw it in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, Nate, this entire postseason run, the Pacers have really played spoiler. We've been the ones to kind of pull off the Houdini act and a series of upsets, as I'm sure you've documented with your fans over the stretch of this NBA playoff run. But Pacers choked it down the stretch. There's really no other way to put it. It was a game that you had a 7-point lead going into the fourth quarter, opportunities to extend it to double digits, and the Pacers went ice cold, and it was really the tale of two ends. We couldn't get stops, got out-rebounded 12-4 in the final period, 4 offensive rebounds for OKC to kind of convert to second-chance points, and then shooting went ice cold. You got to give credit to the Thunder. We know about their historic defense that really has been a vaunted defense the entire season, but they stepped up. They ramped up the physicality and ball pressure. A lot of the fans and the media wants to stoke the fire of refereeing and calls, and certainly there was some storylines there, but Pacers had opportunities to win that game down the stretch. You shoot 0 of 8 from 3. You don't make your free throws. You can't get a rebound. That's why we lost that ball game. And it was, you had 3-1 in your hand, and now we're going back to OKC. It's a 3-game series, and we've got our work cut out for us.
Yeah, I want to know how tough you think the Pacers are. They've been in spots where they've been counted out and dead. Do you think this team's actually really tough? Do they bounce back tonight? I don't know if they can win it. What do you think of the mentality of this team, really?
This entire run, Nate, really has been built around maybe an unwarranted belief in themselves, in one another, and everybody in that locker room. And I think it starts with Rick Carlisle. He's an underappreciated coach in this league, and I think he's really got this group bought in. This is a team that has not lost back-to-back games since March 10th, and that was actually a series of games where Tyrese Halliburton was out. He was not playing back in early March. So they have shown an ability to bounce back, to be resilient, to continue to believe that they can go on and win this series. Now, the stage has never been bigger. The lights have never been brighter. How do you respond on the road when it's essentially a best of 3 for the title? So they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. But if you're asking me for an opinion, I absolutely think this team has that kind of mettle. They've shown it all along. Halliburton, being the head of that snake, is a guy that has the utmost belief in himself, and he's had a couple of clunkers in this postseason. It's something that he gets knocked for, but he has always found a way to bounce back, and I expect him and this Pacers team to have a really big night tonight in Oklahoma City.
Brad Knight talking Pacers. His podcast is Pacers Post Up on Believe, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show talking Game 5 tonight here on Fox Sports Radio. So do you think SGA's really, really good now that you've seen him? The defense has had a tough time with him. I'm kind of one of those guys, like, I've always been Jokic is the best player, no doubt, but where do you think SGA is?
Yeah, he is. He's writing his story right in front of our eyes. Obviously, he wins the MVP this season. This is a guy that I think was a little bit off of the radar coming into the league. Obviously, the trade that happens with Paul George, it's him and a boatload of draft picks. So he was not thought of as someone who could maybe to ascend to where he is now. But you have to give him a lot of credit. I know that there are parts of the NBA fandom that want to say foul merchant, this and that. You really haven't seen a ton of that this series. What you've seen from him is a guy that is an absolutely elite scorer, and he's somebody that's a little old school. He does a lot of his work in the mid-range. His body control is phenomenal, and when he is at his best, he's getting others involved. The points where the Pacers defense have had success in this series is when we make him a little bit more one-dimensional as a scorer. I think about Game 1, 30 shot attempts. That's not a winning recipe for them. Game 2, he comes back. He has 21 shot attempts, 8 assists. And when he's able to get downhill, score, and facilitate for this OKC team, he's really dangerous. And I think he's just, the guy's only 26 years old. He's really just getting into the prime of his career. And I expect him to be in the MVP conversation for several seasons, moving forward. I'm with you, though. Jokic, for me, is the best player in the league. I think his basketball IQ is second to none. But SGA is right there, and he is making life difficult on this Pacers defense. There's no question about it. It starts with him, and really, I think that's going to be a big emphasis for the Pacers tonight is to try and slow him down and make this team more one-dimensional. They only had 11 assists in Game 4, which is the lowest assist total of a team to win a finals game since, I want to say, in the last 40 years. So it was a little bit of an interesting dynamic there, but the guy is phenomenal, and we've got our hands full for sure.
Okay, so you say he's a great player. How annoying is his style as a Pacers fan?
Well, I'll say this. It's not as annoying as Jalen Brunson. I'll give you that. Jalen Brunson, who we had in the Eastern Conference Finals, takes the cake amongst the Pacers fans. I think it's just, there's a little bit more history there with the New York Knicks. But, I've found myself in this series and talking with other fans. I don't think it's been that bad. I really don't. I know that you can point to calls. I mean, I think about the push-off and the step back in Game 4 that really was a travel.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, those plays drive you nuts. But that's not as much about SGA as it is the league. If they're going to let him get away with it, it's right in front of the official. He's staring right at it. That is maddening. There's no question about it. But he's been getting away with that forearm shiver the entire postseason. So you just have to kind of expect it. And until the league's going to say that we're not going to let that happen anymore, you got to find a way to play through it and make them pay on the other end.
Brad Knight on tonight. It is Pacers Post Up, the podcast on Believe. Good stuff. You think they have a fighting chance. Tonight's a tough one for me. I believed in the Pacers. Tonight's a tough one. You think this series goes what?
So I'm a unapologetic homer here, okay? I really think Indiana has a little bit of an unwarranted or unmitigated belief in themselves. I see them winning this game tonight. I don't think we're going to lose 2 games in a row. I think we steal it tonight on the road, and then it's a crapshoot. I'm going to say Pacers in 7. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense because, if we win tonight and lose Game 6, we got to go win in OKC again. That's probably not how it goes, but I think we get one of these next 2 and figure out a way to get it done. I really do think this is our year. I think our veteran leadership edges out OKC just a little bit, and I'm cautiously optimistic, Nate, that we're going to be hoisting the trophy here in the next couple of days.
That's going to be a fun one tonight. I think this is going to be a battle. I said Game 1 was going to be great. I didn't expect the Pacers to win it. I thought it would be really, really tight. They pulled off the upset. Can they do it again tonight at OKC Game 5? Pacers, OKC coming up 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central. Brad Knight, his podcast, Pacers Post Up. Download it, part of Believe. Brad, good to have you. Thanks for hopping on.
Nate, appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks a lot. Brad Knight, that's Pacers Post Up. If you haven't heard it, it's a podcast on Believe, talking Pacers. Pacers Post Up. That's Brad Knight on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. He takes Pacers tonight. He's a homer. I've been rooting Pacers hard. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, nice player. Nice player. And he's not the only one that does it, but it's the defensive player has the arm out. They have the arm out. They're just guarding him. And he goes up and he hits the arm. And it's a foul. Do we like that basketball? Do we like that basketball? I got the arm out. It's arm's length. I'm not touching. I'm not doing anything. I got the arm out, just playing defense. And I, as a basketball player, can just run into your arm to try and shoot, and then it's a foul on you. I mean, it's just ridiculous. SGA does it other guys do it too. Is it just me, or we don't see that in high school? We don't see that in college. Is it just me? But I think it's annoying. It's an annoying style. Pacers tonight, tough one at OKC. Game 5. That's going to be a big one. 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central. Coming up tonight. Into the second hour on the Nate Brown Show. I've got something for you. A little insight into why this person is such a star. I was watching a sporting event with my father-in-law. He's an OK sports fan. Great guy. OK sports fan. He's watching this with me on Saturday. And he said, I've never seen anything like it. Doesn't this give you a glimpse into why this is working? We'll discuss it next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
The place that sells the best new cars and trucks is the place you'll find the best used cars and trucks. That place is Denny Menho Toyota. Shop better quality import and domestic models. Buy with no down and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, buy Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.49% APR for up to 60 months. See us at Denny Menho Toyota or DennyMenhoToyota.com. 1910 per 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit expires 6/30/25.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and EchoStar internet systems. Starlink and EchoStar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
We are back on a Monday. Glad you're back. Glad you're here, wherever you're at tonight. Thanks for being a part of the program. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio, the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you in. Zach Borg's coming up live from Dakota News Now. We'll talk South Dakota sports, some opt-in, opt-out. What's the story? What's the real story in South Dakota State and USD? We'll get to it. Zach Borg coming up live from Dakota News Now, Sioux Falls. Mike McFeely's on the way later this hour. Hang on. Great guest out of North Dakota, FargoInforum.com. Columnist Mike McFeely is in. That's what's on tap tonight on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the new Campfire Bar inside Mr. Liquor 2. Live sports on at the Campfire Bar tonight. They'll have the MDA Finals and 20 South Dakota brews on tap. An awesome patio for the summer. It's the Campfire Bar inside the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. What's on tap of the Nate Brown Show coming up? Great guests. Let's get you on if you want in. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. If you want to be a part of the show, I invite you in there, 605-720-1067. Mark down the number. It's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. And the same number gets you in on the text line. So if you can text the show, you can do that, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson listener text line. What's our question of the day if you missed the first hour? It's an interesting one, a study of yesteryear and today's youth. Always a great topic. I had a guy ask me, why don't we see kids playing pickup basketball, wiffle ball, pickup games, no refs, no structure. Just grab your friends, head down to the park, play some 3-on-3. You got to call your own fouls. You got to do that stuff. You end up in fist fights. It's a lot of fun. Why don't kids go down to the park, go over to each other's houses, play little 2-on-2 in the driveway? I had two things when I was a kid in summer. Two things. Wiffle ball tournaments like you wouldn't believe. I mean, these were legendary wiffle ball tournaments. Number one memory, summertime wiffle ball tournaments. We'd build a bracket. We'd put it through. Outstanding. In my backyard. And then we'd also do the pickup basketball games. That was over at my buddy's house. He had the great hoop in the concrete. We'd have 2-on-2. Those were wars. Those were absolute games, man. And we played that. We didn't go down to the gym all the time and do this, turn it to this, to that. We had to call our own fouls. We had to complain. We had to bean each other with the wiffle ball. It was beautiful. It was absolute beautiful. Do kids do it today? Maybe a little bit. I still think small towns probably do this. I haven't lived in a small town like I used to when I was a kid. I had a great childhood. Small town, ride your bike everywhere, wiffle ball tournaments galore, that whole thing. I do think it's changed. One of my guests on tonight, Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski, said so many options for kids to do, and the technology of their phones takes them away from gathering their friends up, having fun, communicating, going and just playing a game. He said that's where the phones come into play. They text, they snap, they this. They don't just get together and play the games. That's where he's at on the technology side. So my question of the day, why don't we see as many kids just playing pickup games? No refs, no nothing, down at the park. An impromptu baseball game, the Sandlot. Gone are the days of the Sandlot. Do you believe that? Why? 605-720-1067. Text us on the text line if you want. Also get you into the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline if you want as well. Get a little bit of time before we get to this next segment. So you tell me why we don't see as many kids. You tell me why. Is it the technology? Is it all structured now, meaning we pay to play, we go to the trainers, we go to the tournaments, we do that stuff, so then the kids are like, well, why would I have to go down to the park and play? I already just played all weekend. Or is it parents being overprotective? My parents said, get on your bike. We're going to work. Go do something. That was me. But now, do we do that? Maybe I said maybe small towns is different than Rapid and Sioux Falls. Thanks for calling. You're live tonight, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how's it going?
Good, man. What do you say?
Well, there's a lot of factors going on. I know, my mom, it was get out and get the stink off you. That was her saying, but
perfect.
Yeah, but, one of the things that bothers me, and it's just happening right now, South Junior High is, they built a brand new field, really beautiful, beautiful place, right?
Okay.
And then they put up a 6-foot fence around it and lock it so kids can't play on it.
Oh.
So like, what makes me mad is my kids are grown and gone, and I'm paying for that field. I would like to see kids out there playing on it. When I was young, we used to just go to the, whatever park, wherever a field was, and we'd play football. We, not full football, but, offense, defense is what we called it. And, but it seems like society is like taking all those free ways to do it away, but then giving them a phone, No,
I got you on that. I got you on that. And the phone, by the way, is a killer. I do think that's a killer.
It is. My kid tells me all the time, I wish I'd have grown up when you did, because, we didn't have phones. We had to go find each other and do something. You know?
That's right. That is right.
That is an element. But, I think that society as a whole can help by making things like that available easily instead of making it harder.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's about it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for getting in. Well, we're always thinking about, then what if a kid gets hurt down on the field? Then who's going to get sued? Then I mean, that's today's society. Well, we can't let them in because then we're worried about this and we're worried about that. I get it. I get it. Why don't we see kids playing summer pickup games this summer as much as we used to? That's my question of the day. An interesting one. 51% of you are voting on Twitter. 51%, number one vote getter, technology. Too much technology. Not a surprise. And I do think that's a factor. But I don't think it's the ultimate factor. I do think the structured play now, everything is scheduled, structured. I fall into that. It just is. Well, we go to this basketball event. We go to this training. We go to that. I fall into that. I didn't do any of that when I was a kid. My training, some of my best training was playing against my brother in the backyard, battling, just absolute battling. 37% say it's all structured now. That's the biggest reason kids aren't playing just pickup games. 12% say parents are being overprotective. They don't let their kids do anything. Listener reaction from Josh. It's a variety of things, Nate. The biggest being pay to play. It's trained kids to think they can only play now with proper equipment at a field or facility with coaching present. The random spontaneous games at the park don't happen anymore. All right. Let's see. Another one. Listener text. The problem being both parents work now. Both parents work. Well, here's the thing. Both of my parents worked, and they just hoped I was responsible. They hoped I was responsible, and nothing ever happened at the Brown household, I will tell you. Listener text coming in. One more on this. It's a combination of all three, Nate. The parents being overprotective, everything structured now, and the technology. Yeah, that's probably right. I mean, that's why I put those three answers. Those are my top three. Trying to figure out what you think is number one. Listener text, kids have access to video games. Parents don't let their kids go out in the neighborhood. And if a kid is in travel ball, they probably aren't going to play just to play. All right. Interesting stuff. Really quick here. So I'm watching a sporting event over the weekend. I was in Deadwood. I'm watching it. I was looking forward to this. And my father-in-law, great guy, okay, Father's Day weekend, great guy. He's kind of a sports fan. Kind of a sports fan. Not like me. Not like me. But he's a big hockey guy. Watch cycling, watches racing, football. So that kind of gives you a perspective. He's not a huge baseball guy, not a big basketball guy, stuff like that. Okay, so there's some of his sports. What game did he watch with me for an hour and a half? What game did he watch with me this weekend then maybe you didn't watch it, but it gives you the picture of why this has captivated the country and different sports fans across all walks of life. What game did he watch with me this weekend? My father, not a huge sports fan, but then he watched it with me at 1 o'clock on Saturday. We were in Deadwood, and this player went off, and then he's watching this. He's captivated. He's like, I've never seen this. I've never seen anything like this. That's what I've been saying, and that's what the real story is of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. I didn't make this up tonight. Caitlin Clark's been out 5 games. She was injured. The ratings dropped 50% league-wide. League-wide, not just Indiana Fever games. League-wide. She comes back playing the New York Liberty. I'm having lunch. Deadwood, we're there. I asked him, hey, can you get this game on? I want to watch Caitlin Clark. She hit 7 threes. 3 in a row from, deeper than NBA. Deeper than NBA. And she hits them swish, swish, swish. He watches and goes, oh, my God, I've never seen anything like it. This is a mid-70s guy, and this is what I'm talking about of these are the types of people that go, I got to watch Caitlin Clark. We haven't seen a player like that. And people will say, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. No, it's because her talent level and what she does is something you've never seen in women's basketball. There's great players in women's basketball. But she was playing against Sabrina Ionescu, who was kind of the player, right? Sabrina, great player, awesome player. Not even close. Not even close to what Caitlin does and how she plays. It's the entertainment. It's the bomb threes. It's the 3 straight. It's off the dribble, quick release. You've never seen anything like it. And this is my father-in-law fitting into the narrative of how do we get such big ratings when Caitlin plays? That's how. It wasn't because, and now he's like, man, I got to watch her play. I got to watch this play. It is, I will tell you, the Tiger Woods effect. Tiger did this shot, made that shot, and won and had the edge. Caitlin's that way. Caitlin Clark returns 7 threes, 32 points. The Fever beat the New York Liberty. But it's the Caitlin Clark show, and it's bringing in people that are like, I don't watch basketball, really? But I'll watch Caitlin Clark. What a weekend. Very interesting case study. My father-in-law, part of the Nate Brown Show. You never thought you'd see it. Coming right back with Zach Borg, Dakota News Now on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home deserves a better hello. Swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Ready for the wildest night of your life? Bingo Loco hits the Box Elder Event Center on June 28th. A 21 and over event where bingo meets rave. Think dance-offs, lip-sync battles, throwback anthems, confetti showers, and epic prizes. Even a vacation getaway. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7. Book the Bingo Loco room package at Courtyard by Marriott. Includes your stay, 2 tickets, and breakfast. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at thebox.live.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
This is The Nate Brown Show. Also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Monday. We're back at it. Hope you are doing well. I know you're back at it too. Hope you're taking some time this summer. I'll be off next week. The show's off next week. You want to watch Caitlin Clark? Can you believe it? We went and watched her last year. It was amazing. We're going Caitlin Clark next week as well. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight with Zach Borg, Dakota News Now, sports anchor. Does a great job covering sports in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Zach, welcome on. How are you?
Doing all right. It's funny you're going to be off next week because, speaking of South Dakota, I'm pulling into Del Rapids for a little Legion ball, and next week I'll probably be watching a little bit of Post 22 because they'll be making a trip out here. They'll be, I think next Thursday they're out. A week from Thursday they're out in Yankton. They'll be playing Yankton, Brookings, and Watertown next week. So I'll be seeing a little bit of. They'll be making their trip out here next week.
They look pretty good, man. You'll have to take a look. Post 22 looks pretty good. We'll see where they go. They've been knocked off in South Dakota, as we've talked about. Okay. I want to get to this, the college sports landscape here. So we get this news from USD officially. They're going to opt in to the House settlement. And so I think sports fans are kind of like, where's this going? What's the story? I think a lot of people are like clueless. It's hard to follow. Opt in basically saying they're going to do some revenue sharing. There's other benefits according to John Schemmel, the AD for the Yotes, but USD says we're opting in because we get to grandfather in all of our student athletes. That's walk-ons. That's partial scholarship. These are kids that pay tuition to the university. So we don't have roster limits, so we get to keep everybody. We're going to opt in. So South Dakota State still hasn't changed their position, Zach. And so that was their concern as well back in the spring. If we have to cut people, we don't want to do this. What do you think's going on with South Dakota State? I can't quite put my finger on it.
Well, and Justin Sell is usually pretty close to the vest, and I'll add as well that you or anybody else are not the only one whose head hurts. Mine has hurt a lot. I've tried to, like I know Matt Zimmer and some other people, I've tried to kind of avoid this topic until the settlement was kind of I don't want to say passed. I know that judge had to approve it about a week ago Friday. I think, and I haven't spoken directly with Justin. I did speak with John Schimmel via text messages last week. Knowing Justin, I think they're just being a little cautious. The deadline to opt in was or opt out for the upcoming year was originally going to be June 15th, but that got extended once the judge approved the settlement. So it is June 30th. So they do have more time, which I think helps. That really helped everyone, especially at this level. So I think SCSU, I think, kind of wants to see how things play out a little more. And to be clear, you don't have to. It's not a do this now or you can never do it. You can do it at any future year. This is just for doing it for the upcoming year. It's the deadline that's coming up.
Yeah.
So I think SCSU just kind of wants to be a little cautious and see what this is going to look like, at least in the upcoming year. This is the, what's that book there's that book series that goes, this is for dummies, the quote unquote, whatever it is, rockets, surgery for dummies or whatever. As I understand it, my thing, the settlements for dummies, and I'm certainly one of those dummies. I think any school of SCSU or USC size, the thing they really did not like about this settlement was it puts a limit on roster sizes. You can have there's no cap on scholarships, but you can only have so many players on a roster. You can only have 105 football players, whereas in the past, you could only scholarship at the FCS level 63, but you could have an unlimited amount of football players. If you could go up past 105.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it would be walk-ons. And at a school of SCSU or USC size, that means they're paying their own way, and certainly schools out here, they like having people who will pay them money and tuition and all those good things. So schools don't like turning away students. That's certainly a part of that. And as John Schimmel had mentioned, certainly with the settlement, they didn't want to have to cut the existing athletes because of those roster caps. Well, when the judge agreed to the settlement, they did agree to a plan to grandfather in the current rosters so they wouldn't have to cut existing athletes. That hadn't been a part of the settlement previously. That was in there now, and that was the key factor for USD and I think a lot of other schools like UND to opt into this. So we'll see. I mean, I know in hearing some other reporting that Justin has been pretty adamant that he's still going to say no. I've heard NDSU is 50-50, but maybe leaning toward it. I do think eventually SDSU will probably do it. It could be this year, it could be next year. But I think the main benefit that I've heard, other than the fact that, again, you could have, in theory, unlimited scholarships, I don't expect SDSU to be able to afford 105 scholarships, but a school like SDSU or USD, as committed as they are with some of the boosters and the organizations they have, they could probably get up to 70, maybe even 80. I don't know. I would expect that's one big benefit for the football schools. But, I think the other benefit is then you're not relying on the collectives to pay your athletes. It's funded through the school.
Yeah.
And those things maybe go to other things. And then you can those collectives can maybe go to other aspects of your athletic program.
Yeah. It's that is the big part of it. So I'm waiting to see. Is South Dakota State going to hold firm? What if NDSU does it? UND does it? USD does it? Does South Dakota State hold on and say, no, we're still not going to do it? And then my big question, Zach, is do they still get grandfathered in? So if they did it next year, do their current athletes still get grandfathered in?
That's a very good question. And Sam Herder, who is, he's a good follow, period, if you're an FCS person and is part of the Woods. But he brought that up when I had mentioned it, and it was there's not really any clarification yet what will happen if you opt out this year but go in a future year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. It just goes to how in the weeds a lot of this is. There's still a lot to be determined, and there could be more lawsuits. I know there's some Title IX challenges because, again, most of this, it's not in theory it's not fair, but if we're being honest, we know the biggest revenue generating sports are men's basketball and football, so they're going to get the majority of the money. So there's going to be I think there already was a lawsuit brought up via Title IX on the behalf of women's sports. So there's a lot yet to be determined, although it's probably all going to pass and go through. So, I think for a lot of reasons, and in no small part you alluded to, because it looks like everybody else will end up opting in, I think SDSU eventually does it. And there are some other things about it that you're a little uncomfortable with, just because I know part of the settlement, and again, it goes to paying. There's a lot of. I think these schools have to pay $300,000 for the next 10, 15, some other years as back pay for all the athletes who never got paid over the last 2 decades. I mean, it's kind of unfair to make all these mid-majors pay so much when I think it's not nearly equivalent to what the bigger schools, who make the majority of the money, are going to be paying out. So, but had this settlement not passed, then the NCAA probably would not exist, because they would have had to pay billions and billions of dollars back. So it's very confusing, and I posted a video clip from one of my favorite TV shows. It was called Supernatural once upon a time, where they had a confusing topic like this, and he just said, "My head hurts, let's drink and never think about this again." Unfortunately, I have to think about this pretty regularly.
Yeah, we will. I think we will. June 30th is coming up for the deadline to opt in. South Dakota State, as of now, hasn't changed their position there of opting out. USD has decided they will opt into the revenue-sharing model. Zach Borgon tonight. How about this headline on the FCS? I want your read on this. Sacramento State had a big... Hey, we want to go FBS. We're going to go FBS. We've raised money. We're going to do it. Even if we go independent, we're going to do it. We just saw this from Ross Dellinger. NCAA Football Oversight Committee is recommending not to support that waiver. You have to get a waiver if you're not in a conference. So they needed a waiver. The Football Oversight Committee says, don't support the waiver. The D1 Council gets to do the final decision, but that's kind of a hiccup there. Sacramento State, are they going to get shut down on going FBS?
I mean, as you mentioned, it is the council has the final say, but that really seems like a pretty big roadblock. And and the deadline for that is also the 30th, because the new NCAA year starts on the 1st, and they have to basically have a year of transition. So I don't think it's going to happen in the immediate future. I mean, it's been a weird process with them. And another thing with Sacramento State, who, oh, by the way, is SDSU's first football game this year on August 30th, they have made a lot of waves. They've made a lot of big-time hires. They've been active in the transfer portal. Of course, they hired Mike Bibby as their basketball coach. Shaquille O'Neal's their general manager, which is a weird thing. Their president makes a lot of big statements. He kind of called the FCS the JV of college football and tried to walk it back, but then didn't. I mean, you kind of understand on one hand, because Sacramento is a major market. It's market 20, but they've not really done it in the right way, and I don't think they really know what they're doing. They tried to make a push to get in the Pac-12. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I think the Mountain West doesn't really want to do anybody in the FCS right now. So it feels like they just kind of overpromised and they wanted to do this independent thing, but it feels like it was kind of haphazard. So I think this is probably not going to happen right away, and this is the NCAA telling them, look, you need to get your house in order before you do this. But it's going to be interesting because, like I said, they made a lot of big promises. Is this going to set? How far back is this going to set them? What is this going to look like? And they basically have withdrawn from the Big Sky. So after next year, where are they going to stick their football program? I don't know. It's going to be interesting if they do not get this waiver. I wouldn't be shocked if they sue or get into litigation over it. But the only independence is not the way to go in FBS. It's the only programs we've ever seen do it are private schools like Notre Dame, Brigham Young. I know Liberty did it briefly, but those are private schools with big budgets or service academies. This to me never made sense, and I think, I think the NCAA for once is kind of making a decision that makes sense here if they decline this. I think Sacramento State needs to find a conference, and realignment, as we've seen, is always kind of spinning. I think the Pac-12 is going to probably invite Texas State soon, and that could lead to a domino. We could see it. Conference USA, the Mountain West, they'll move, and the wheel never stops.
And guess what? My guess is in 5 years, South Dakota State, USD, NDSU, Sacramento State, they're all going to be in the same thing with the Wyomings, the Utah States. They're going to be in the same thing. Just give it time.
Well, that's the thing. Part of this, and I always say this especially with the Bison fans who are just, it seems like they would hack off their left arm right now to move to FBS. My thing, and I know you have McFeely on, and he thinks I really don't like his writing, and it's not to that point. It's one of those deals where it's like, guys, anything outside of those 4 conferences, and now it's really 2 because it's really just the Big Ten and the SEC, anything in the group of 5 or group of 6, it's just the FCS, but paying more money at this point. And you're right. It's all going to be, they're just playing in crappy bowls. Eventually, we're probably going to have, you're right. I think they're all going to be at that level at some point. Those power conferences are all going to break away and do their own thing. I know there's this fear that, we're all going to get left behind.
Oh, no. I just lost him. I had him, and I lost him. But I'm going to take his words and take him right to Mike McFeely. Those were fighting words, Zach Borg. No, not quite. But thanks, Zach. That's Zach Borg. While I had him, Dakota News Now, live in Sioux Falls, to Mike McFeely, North Dakota, Inforum.com columnist next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Refresh your home today with window images, blinds, and shades. We have everything you need to update your window treatments. We carry vinyl, aluminum, and faux wood blinds, cellular shades, and more. Plus, get them trimmed to width in-store for free. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car weathered the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop,
We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See AnytimeAnytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. If you miss any parts of the program, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Yeah, that's why we have a podcast out there in case you miss some of the guests you maybe don't catch live. We got 2 hours thought-provoking sports talk. We do our best keeping it new, fresh content. We don't repeat guests and record them, play them back. So go to the Nate Brown Show podcast if you want to hear NBA Finals Game 5 preview. We had Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski. We also had Zach Borg tonight talking FCS and opt-in, opt-out. What does this all mean? And then Zach Borg said he thinks Mike McFeely doesn't like his writing. He said, I think Mike McFeely thinks I don't like his writing. So let's talk to Mike McFeely from Fargo's Inforum.com. Columnist. I like his writing. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Zach Borg from Sioux Falls says, you and him get in some battles of you shouldn't go to the FBS. He says North Dakota State doesn't need to go to the FBS, and he thinks you think that he doesn't like your writing. What do you think?
I can't recall ever exchanging anything with Zach Borg over anything about FBS, so I don't know where he would get that belief. As with many in the Sioux Falls media, they seem to think that FCS is the be-all, end-all, and I disagree. I think that if North Dakota State gets a chance to go, they should go. I just happened to look today, just coincidentally, had nothing to do with coming on your program, but Missouri State, which was a Missouri Valley Football Conference member until last season, they're starting their first year in Conference USA this year, their non-conference schedule, Missouri State's non-conference schedule this year is USC, Southern Methodist, and Marshall. So that may be 3 losses for Missouri State, but think about how much fun that would be to play Marshall, USC, and SMU, as compared to North Dakota State's non-conference schedule this year, which is the Citadel, which will likely be a 50-point victory, Tennessee State, which will likely be a 50-point victory, and Southeast Missouri, which will probably be a 3-touchdown victory, let's say. So to me, that's a no-brainer, which would be more interesting, which would be engage the fan base better, which would be better for the institution. It would leave no doubt where I would stand, but others feel strongly the other way, and that specifically folks in the Sioux Falls media for some reason. I don't know why, but that's their choice, and they're allowed to have it.
And your caveat here is if North Dakota State gets an invite. So you wouldn't try to do the Sacramento State thing going independent, which looks like they just hit a roadblock today.
Yeah, not right now. Give me 3-4 years. And if North Dakota State is still spinning its wheels in FCS, which I assume it's going to be, then my outlook might be different. But I've reached the point now where and none of this is going to come to fruition. NDSU is stuck where it's at, which is fine. They'll be competitive every year in FCS. They'll be fighting for national championships. Probably they'll have 15 of them in the next, 7-8 years. They'll end up with 15 total FCS championships or something like that, I would assume. But I used to be picky on what conference I thought North Dakota State should go to. I thought, the Mountain West would be perfect. And then it was, Matt Entz was kind of pushing the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. And I thought, that's fine. I think right now this is me speaking, not North Dakota State speaking, obviously, but as a media member that covers NDSU, I would take Conference USA right now. I mean, that's the conference that Kennesaw, Missouri State, and Sam Houston are in. Not great. It's not a super-duper FBS league, but if you look at the non-conference games they have, they're pretty interesting. Most of them are pretty interesting.
Mike McFeely joins us, Inforum.com columnist. Find his work there. He's been on vacation. Now he's back in, ready to rock. Where do you stand on this opt-in, opt-out revenue-sharing model? USD just announced they're going to opt in because the roster caps aren't going to be the thing anymore. They can have walk-ons and partial scholarships and some of that tuition money. So USD said, we're opting in because we grandfather the rosters in, our current student-athletes. What do you think NDSU is going to do here?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure what to think about what these schools should do, I'll be honest. The key, I think, for a school like USD is that the roster limit's not going to just drop off the cliff. It's eventually going to get down to 105, I believe, but it's going to be, reduced gradually. And so eventually they're going to face some of those numbers that other schools have to face. And who knows what the college world is going to look like in 3 or 4 years. So if it's the best decision for USD, then it's the best decision for USD. I don't know what NDSU is going to do. I really don't. I've heard a couple of interviews that Matt Larson, the athletic director, has done. My guess, first of all, was that they were going to opt out, just because I think that they kind of like their walk-on program. They were concerned, like a lot of schools were, about having to cap the roster at 105 for football. And there's been so many great walk-on players at North Dakota State and other FCS schools as well. I mean, if you're talking Joe Haig, who played in the NFL for many years, was an offensive lineman at North Dakota State. Cody Mauk, the offensive lineman that got drafted in the second round a couple of years ago out of NDSU, was a walk-on. And so NDSU really likes the walk-on program they have. And frankly, it's a matter of enrollment as well. Many schools, North Dakota State included, have struggled with enrollment the last 5 years or so. And, I think across all sports, I think you're looking at NDSU, if my math is right, they would have probably had to cut 60 roster spots across all the sports. And so 60 people on a campus of whatever NDSU is now, 12, 13,000, that's significant. If those kids are paying their own way and paying tuition and staying in the dorms and the meal plans and all that stuff, that's significant revenue at a time when, quite frankly, North Dakota State doesn't get much help from the state government in North Dakota for athletics. And so I think that's going to factor into whatever NDSU does here. And I would assume they'll make some announcement in the next couple of days. I don't know what South Dakota State is thinking. I think UND up in Grand Forks is leaning toward opting in as well, although they have hockey there, and that's a whole different animal than everything else these other schools are dealing with. But I think it's kind of the same thing. It's the roster idea that they can sort of gradually get down to roster limits as opposed to just going off the cliff.
South Dakota State has said their position hasn't changed as of now. They're going to opt out is what they've said. They haven't made a final decision, but their position hasn't changed. And Justin Sell said they would have to cut, if they didn't have the grandfathered in roster, 75 student athletes. So that's where he's...
So I would think, I haven't talked to Justin Sell. I haven't talked to anybody about Justin Sell or SDSU's decision, but I would think they're coming at it from the same angle as North Dakota State, that they just don't want to lose those walk-on athletes for a variety of reasons, whether it's just being more competitive and developing players, which that's what FCS football, the good programs, the great programs like NDSU and SDSU, their strength has always been developing players and finding the diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Those players now are probably going to leave these places after a couple of years after they get really good, but that's sort of how SDSU and NDSU have eaten or made their lunch the last several years.
Mike McFeely on tonight. Read his work at Inforum.com. Back on the Nate Brown Show. Spends his first day from vacation on the program, Mike, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I had a fantastic vacation.
Good.
And I'm ready to get back to doing some work. This is how exciting my life is when I'm not on vacation. I was just reading the 65-page frequently asked questions about the House settlement that is now out. So I was reading through that, trying to discern what all this stuff means. I'm still not sure what all this means.
I'm with you.
All I know is that Alabama and Ohio State are driving the bus, and everybody else is just hoping not to get run over.
I got it. Mike McFeely, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mike McFeely in tonight, Inforum.com, columnist from Fargo. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show with a historic pitching outing today. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Summer's here, and adventure is calling at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. New Sierra Light Duties with savings up to $6,250, or choose 0% financing for 36 months. Need more muscle? The Sierra HD has total savings of up to $2,750. At Spearfish GMC, we've got a great selection of Terrains, Acadias, and Yukons just waiting for your next road trip. Shop anytime at SpearfishMotors.com and make this summer one to remember. GMC, we are professional grade.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Partly cloudy skies tonight with severe thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 58. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Storms likely. Highs level off around 72. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night. Thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 55. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 78.
The hottest wins are at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resorts. Blaze into big wins with over $80,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including your chance to drive off in a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer. Win $300 prize packages every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight, plus a $1,000 prize package at midnight. So qualify today and save the date for the grand prize drawing on Saturday, July 19th. Big wins all summer long at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Have you ever really thought about how important your front door, and every entry door into your home for that matter, really is? That door provides security for your family and so much more. The wait is over. Ensemble Doors by Renewal by Andersen have arrived. These awesome secure doors have timeless style, elegant features. They can be customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, Renewal by Andersen is offering an incredible value on Ensemble entry doors. You get 20% off every Ensemble entry door. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Ensemble entry doors by Renewal by Andersen are just so much better. They're built with the best quality materials, including Renewal by Andersen's exclusive Fibrex, which has been tested to deliver enhanced security, certified performance, and lasting beauty. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. That's RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's do this on the Nate Brown Show every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Who's hot and who's not? Wrap up the show tonight in my Who's Hot category. The Pizza Ranch Who's Hot, 19 strikeouts, a no-hitter, first no-hitter in the College World Series since 1960, Gage Wood. Gage Wood, Arkansas. No-hitter today in the win over Murray State. How about that? First no-hitter in the College World Series since 1960 down in Omaha. Arkansas continues to roll. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, I don't know if this is coming because of the settlement or anything, but Washington State has announced they're going to cut field events in their track and field events and sprinting. They're going to cut field events and reducing sprinting to focus on distance for track and field. Washington State cutting field events and reducing sprinting in their department. Interesting. Thanks for listening to The Nate Brown Show. We're back tomorrow, and the podcast going up right now.
Sandwiches are the original fast food. And what could be easier than loading up a few slices of Country Hearth multigrain bread